Hi everyone, welcome to Wealthy Mindset. My name is Oliver. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys are having a great day like always. In today's video, I'm going to be covering AMC stock from April 9th trading day, giving you guys the lows and the highs like always by analyzing the graph. And I'm going to throw in some fundamentals here and there. Now, quick disclaimer before I begin. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a professional. And everything I do share with you guys, it's just my opinion. It is not advice. So please do not buy or sell based off the information I give you or the opinions I do form. Please do your own due diligence and research before buying and selling. Now, before I jump into the graph, I just want to show one quick thing. So as of March 15th, the short positions is at 11%, and that is a drop from the previous period, which was around, from what I can remember, it was 15 to 16%. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because if you look right here, March 15th is around this time frame. So that means most of the short dumpings in terms of shares or purchases, I guess that's what it is for coverings, happen around here. So around the $7 price point all the way to 14 around this time frame, which was March 5th right here. And ever since then, been dropping. Now, if you've been a viewer of my channel, you've noticed that I've shown the upward trend support line dating back since January 2021 right here. Had a false breakout right here, bounced back up to the upside, and this was the $7 March 4th, March 5th time frame anyway. So this was the right time or perfect time for like us, for them to drop or start buying shares back. The unfortunate part though is we broke through the downward or upward trend support line, basically bounced off it to confirm that we're going to continue to downside. That's the unfortunate part. I wonder if they were starting to short more shares right here or something, because this is only for March 15th. So this does not show if more shares were being shorted during this time frame. The only thing is though, we have a downward trend resistance line right here. We have an upward trend support line right here. Now, I didn't go with this touch point right here. I went with this one because this one was more like a flat one. And then touch points right here. This was a small false breakout right here, and hopefully continue on this upward trend support line. Now, it is forming a triangle right here with this line and this line right here as resistance and support. And if you're looking as to when they're going to meet, it's basically April 13th, but like end of April 13th. So pretty much end of the day. And we'll see what happens. I think what's going to happen in the meantime is you guys are going to go to the upside. I don't know if necessarily going to meet it necessarily for tomorrow's trading day. I think most likely, okay, so essentially what I'm going to say is what I always do is I cover the upside and the downside. So if we go up, how high will go up? If we go low, how low will go? And the reason why I do that too is because we don't know what news could come out tomorrow morning, because if it's dramatic, it could spike up dramatically. If it's pretty bad news, it could spike down dramatically. So in the meantime, what we're looking at is resistance at mainly the moving averages. So we're below all three moving averages, which is not a really great sign. But the MAC line is crossed over ever so slightly in the positive. I think tomorrow might be an upside, and because of the upward trend support line as well. So if that's the case, then we're looking at resistance at the first moving average at 994 price point, give or take. We have resistance at 978 price point. We could be hovering around that the whole entire time. I hope not, but hopefully go to the at least the 994 first. Then after that, we're looking at 1003, which is the ballpark of $10 to $10.12 resistance level. That's going to be pretty difficult. Looks like maybe could just consolidate the whole entire time. But then you're looking at right after that 1022. So I think the one that's going to hold us for the most part is 1022, 1026, around this resistance level. So if you do pass it, I could see us going to 1043 around there, closing the day at 1043, 1044 in the optimistic side. Now, if you're extremely optimistic, but like mediocrely, somewhat thinking realistic, it could be 1052 as 1055 as well. That's resistance level right there. Now, I don't think it's going to go higher than these potential levels. Now, if you think it's going to go catabolic and go straight up to this point right here, because essentially you want to meet up on this downward trend resistance line and ideally break through it. But to break through it in the first part, you need to basically go past like 974 around that ballpark. So 1074. So 1074 to 1081 range, there's resistance. The crazy part about that, it's not just the downward trend resistance line. You have horizontal resistance lines at these price points. So 1074 to 1081, there's horizontal resistance, plus you have this downward trend resistance. So it's going to be it's a pretty big uphill battle to get past these levels. So hopefully you guys do. Hopefully you get past it, but it's going to be quite difficult, I think, personally. But hopefully you guys do. I think by the time you guys break through it, it'll probably be April 13th by the end of the day, into the upside, hopefully. You could break down to the downside. That would be a bummer, but hopefully it goes to upside. Now, if you are overly optimistic, just in case, I'm going to cover one more level. So the next level will be 1095, 1092, 1090, around that range. I don't think you would be getting to the $11 price point, even if you're extremely optimistic. Now for the downside, I think the lowest would be the 950, given that the upward trend support line, you're looking at 958, trying to account for false breakouts, 950. Plus you saw today also as well, 950. So I don't know if it'll, hopefully it doesn't go lower. The only problem is the momentum for the way the stock has been going has been basically going down since March 18. So that's the unfortunate part. So if the momentum continues to the downside, then 950 would hypothetically break, because you would break through the upward trend support line, and then it would technically trigger a false breakout, hopefully bounce back up to the upside. But if it doesn't bounce back up to the upside, then you'd be trickling down to 947, 944, and then there is support between the 930 price points. The only problem is I think it would start going down drastically to maybe to the 927 horizontal support level. So that's what I have it. Yeah, again, there is support in the 930 range. The only problem is I think it would trickle down pretty quickly to the 927. Now, there is support between the 927 and definitely the $9 price point, but I think what would happen is if the 927 does get broken, it could go down to the 899, 895. Now, I don't think, personally, I don't think the downside is going to happen tomorrow, but I'm just covering just in case. Again, nobody knows for sure. Take everything with a grain of salt. And then if you guys do break this level, you're looking at the 880 range, maybe 876. I don't think it's going to go any lower than that. That's the utmost lowest for the next day. Also to note, these are horizontal support levels. So horizontal, and if you want to basically call the bottom of this upward trend support level right here, then you're looking at 956 to 958 between that price point. So tomorrow you could see 956, 958. I could even see it happening even if you're optimistic, where potentially it could happen right off the bat in the beginning of the day or somewhat early-ish in the day, and then go to the upside. And then if you think by the end of the day, by the way, if it's going to hug this upward trend support line, then you're thinking it's going to close at pretty much at $9.70 tomorrow, give or take. And then if you think it's going to go to the upside, and then so if you think it's going to go to the upside and basically hug this downward trend resistance line all the way to the close, then you're looking at pretty much at the 1037 price point, 1035, I think when I measured it, or something like that. But yeah, so 1037, 1035 by the end of the day, if you think it's going to hug the upward trend resistance line. So basically, just to be clear, let's just say breaks through all these moving averages and then hits this like a roadblock and then starts trickling down for the rest of the day. So yeah, 1035, 1036, 1037, around there. Again, keep in mind, nobody knows. I think most likely it's going to close the day at 1044, 1043 if you're optimistic. If you're not optimistic, then I guess pretty much close. It all depends. I don't want to just keep throwing speculations on what could happen, but these are resistance levels, these are support levels. I wanted to say it's going to close like I stated at the 970, I think. Yeah, 970. So I was thinking 970, 978. But that's if you're thinking it's going to hug this upward trend support line. I'm blabbering, sorry about that. But essentially that's basically it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you do like the video, consider dropping a like. It does help out the channel. If you do like videos like these or other stock videos, financial freedom, passive income, consider subscribing. It does help out the channel. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. And that's pretty much it. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.